You ever wondered how to get those big old flaky, delicious scones? Well, I've got a couple of amazing secrets that you are gonna love because we're gonna make the biggest, thickest, flakiest, most amazing blueberry scones you've ever had, my friends. What is going down, my comies? Chef Billy Parisi in the house, and you know we believe homemade food from scratch just tastes better. And this one, these blueberry scones are so homemade that me and the family, we actually went to Indiana and we picked these blueberries ourselves. Holy smokes, dude. They're sweet, they're delicious, they're nothing like you get in the grocery store. Now, I'm not telling you to go out and pick blueberries, but dude, so much flavor in these. Let's get into making this recipe because we are bringing your favorite breakfast spot right to your kitchen. We're gonna start by adding some flour, just all purpose, right to a very large bowl. Next, sprinkle in some granulated sugar. It's gonna help add some sweetness to our scones. Now some baking powder, which is gonna help elevate these puppies. Then some sea salt. And now for my first secret. It can be hard to cut in butter to biscuits or into scones. Here is an amazing way to do that. We are gonna use a cheese grater, my friends. That's right. Make sure your butter is ice cold. Keep it in the fridge or pop it in the freezer before doing this. What I'm gonna do is just run that stick of butter right on the cheese grater. I usually use parchment paper underneath to collect it. You can absolutely use a plate. This breaks down the butter to make sure it incorporates all throughout this recipe, providing fat, providing flavor, gonna make it perfect for these blueberry scones. Add it right into our dry ingredients into the bowl. And then using a fork, a spatula, a spoon, whatever you've got, my friends, just simply mix all of those ingredients together. Once they are combined, which should only take about 30 seconds to 1 minute, in a separate bowl, we're gonna mix together our wet ingredients. We're going to be using some buttermilk. If you remember my buttermilk homemade biscuits, you can actually make buttermilk at home. 1 teaspoon of vinegar to 1 cup of milk, or you can use lemon juice too if you like that little tang, that little extra flavor. I just hooked up buttermilk from the store, so, well, I'm taking the easy way out here. Add it to a bowl. Don't worry, that little chunk of buttermilk that fell in there was because I kept it in the freezer for a couple minutes before pouring it. Now we need to add in a few eggs. So go ahead and crack them and add them right into that buttermilk bowl. And then simply whisk these together until they are completely combined. Now that they are whisked, we are gonna add the wet ingredients right over to the bowl with the dry ingredients. So simply pour it right in there. And then using that spatula or that spoon, we are gonna start bringing all of these ingredients together. It can be kind of tough because you're making a harder dough. So if you need to use your hands, please feel free to get in there. The goal here is to bring everything together so all of the moisture is incorporated into the dry ingredients. And now for the blueberries. Like I said, we went to Indiana last weekend. We've got a ton of fresh blueberries. They're amazing, they're sweet, they are delicious. Honestly, it's like candy, dude. So stinking good. Go ahead and add those blueberries right into the dough. And then very, very gently, because you do not want the blueberries to pop or to break apart. So fold those in there, either using your hands or the spatula like I'm doing. And once all of those ingredients are together on a clean surface, dust it up with a little bit of flour because we need to roll out these scones. Transfer the dough right on top of that flour. And then using a rolling pin, we want to get it until it's about 1 inch thick, okay? Do not go over that because I've had issues where scones rise and then fall over. We don't want to do that. We want to keep them under that limit. No reason to skyscrape the scone here, my friend. So roll it out until it's about 1 inch thick, and then using a knife or even a bench knife, we are going to cut 12 individual slices out of this nice round scone dough. And at this point, use the bench knife, scrape it off the countertop, put it on a cookie sheet tray lined with parchment paper. And here is the trick here. You wanna separate them by about 1/4 to 1/2 inch and make them into a round circle, just like it was when it was on the countertop, except for this time, you're not wanting anything to touch together. This will help when it rises so it doesn't fall over. They'll sort of keep each other up, but if you kept it together, it would stick together. You'd be pissed at me. It's not my fault. So make sure you separate them by a little bit of an air gap all the way around. And now for my next trick. Butter needs to be cold in the dough before it goes in the oven. You've been working it, so it's melted down a little bit, it's softened. If you do this, your scones can fall over or flatten and not rise to where you need them to be. So we're gonna pop it in the refrigerator for 20 to 25 minutes. Just make sure that dough is nice and cold. Once it is cold, bring it out. We are gonna brush the tops with a little bit of melted unsalted butter. Once you've covered all the tops there, we're gonna sprinkle on a little bit of sugar. You can use turbinado sugar if you'd like. I'm gonna use regular granulated. Now it is going in the oven on 375 degrees. It's gonna take in between 25 and 30 minutes for these scones to completely cook. You'll know they're done once those outside edges start to turn a little bit brown. They're nice and firm on top and gently soft in the center. While the scones are in the oven, we're gonna make a very simple glaze. So go ahead and add some powdered sugar to a sifter or even a strainer. You just wanna break up the chunks of powdered sugar. Next thing we're gonna do is add in a little bit of milk, whisk it together. It should be super thick, just like a glaze should be. You may have some extra here. Don't drink it, put it in the fridge, save it for another day. Now take those scones out. They look amazing. It smells, seriously guys, it smells so dang good in here. I cannot say it enough. We're gonna set them on a rack, let it cool completely to room temperature, which takes only about 25 to 30 minutes. And then at that point, we're gonna drizzle that glaze all over the top. It is important to make sure these scones are cool or else the glaze will be melted and sort of just run everywhere. You want those nice sort of glaze marks on the top. And then it's as simple as plating these up. Oh my gosh, these are fantastic. And while I shove these delicious homemade blueberry scones into my mouth, you better head on over to my homemade buttermilk biscuits recipe video because it is so good. We will see you on that video.